Elon Musk pulls into the driveway, bone-tired, expecting stillness. What greets him instead stops him cold. His young son, X, crumpled in tears, clutching a wilted daisy. A single fragile flower. A heartbreak he didn't see coming. Not a meeting, not a launch, but grief in its purest, smallest form. And what X says next will unmake a titan and plant a seed that quietly shifts everything. Before we continue, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss news stories. The soft hum of the Tesla dies beneath a Texas sky streaked with lavender and fading gold. Elon sits still a moment, the weight of the day pressing down. Another marathon of meetings, snags in the supply chain, a blur of decisions that dragged him past sunset. His shoulders droop. He steps out, keys jangling, the humid air laced with cedar and distant cut grass. He expects the usual quiet. X, 5 years old, likely tucked into bed by the nanny. Dinner cooling untouched on the counter. The porch light casts a tired glow on the wooden steps. Elon climbs them slowly, briefcase in hand, mind still pacing boardrooms. The front door groans open in his silence. He drops his case by the coat rack, loosens his tie. X, he calls gently, more out of habit than hope. It's well past bedtime. No answer. The living room lies in shadow. TV off, toys scattered like half-built dreams. He heads to the kitchen. The fluorescent lights buzz to life, harsh and clinical. The sink is piled with dishes. A browning apple sags beside the fridge. Then he hears it. A soft hiccup, a sniffle, faint, from the pantry corner. He turns. There, curled small against the wall, hoodie drawn up over his head, knees tucked tight to his chest, sits X, tiny, shaking, tears streaking his cheeks. In his hands, a wilted daisy, its petals drooped, stem bent. Elon kneels without thinking. Briefcase forgotten. X, he says, voice low. Hey, buddy, what happened? He expects a nightmare. A skin knee. Something he can kiss away or promise to fix. But X lifts his face, blue eyes rimmed red, lip quivering. I picked it for you, he whispers, holding out the limp flower. But it died. I didn't know. It needed to stay. The words spill from him, cracked and raw. His small hands tremble, and Elon feels something shift in his chest. An ache, sudden and sharp. The usual comforts will get another, stick in his throat. The daisy's limp weight lands heavier than a rocket's failure. He settles beside X, awkwardly folding his legs beneath him, gently pulls the boy into his arms. The flower trembles between them. It's okay, Elon murmurs, voice rough. But X shakes his head, sobs breaking open. I just wanted to make you happy, he chokes out. But it's gone. Elon closes his eyes, the sting rising behind them. He's built empires, chased impossible visions, stretched himself thin, trying to create a future grand enough for them both. But this tiny grief, cuts deeper than any lost deal or failed launch. A child mourning a flower. And for the first time in forever, he stops. He wipes a tear from X's cheek with his thumb, feels the fragile stem between his fingers. You'd make me happy, he says softly. Just by trying. He's always seen life as a race. Faster, bigger, better. But in this quiet moment, broken by a daisy, something cracks. A care he'd let slip. A love he'd been too busy to see. The kitchen is still. The fluorescent glare dims as he switches to a warmer bulb. Dishes stay dirty. The apple continues to brown. But none of it matters. Not now. He holds his son, feeling the truth of the moment settle deep in his bones. I didn't know. X hiccups again. Elon swallows hard. Neither had he. We'll figure out, he whispers, voice gentle. The daisy still rests between them, a delicate wound not to be fixed, but honored. X's sobs soften. He leans in. The world slows. Elon looks down at the flower, its yellow heart faded, petals curling in. He's always been the doer, the storm chaser, the man in motion. But this stillness undoes him. The clock ticks 8 p.m. His phone buzzes. He doesn't move. A plan can wait. A meeting can miss him. But this matters. Tell me about it, he says, nodding toward the flower. X sniffles. It was pretty. Yellow. Like the sun. Elon smiles faintly. Sounds like you. A flicker stirs in X's eyes, and Elon pulls him closer. The daisy becomes a quiet bridge between them. He's always raced forward, but X's sorrow roots him, gently, irreversibly. He switches off the bright kitchen light, replacing it with a soft amber glow. Mutters to himself, gruff, but not unkind, unbelievable. Not the flower, not the tears, but what they've revealed. He stays on the floor as X's breathing evens out, his hoodie damp, the flowers still nestled in his hands. Elon, the titan, undone not by failure, but by love he almost missed. The words loop in his mind, steady and sharp. I picked it for you, but it died. And something inside him breaks open, not loudly, but deeply. You made me happy, buddy, he says again, brushing X's hair back. Just by caring. But it's gone. X murmurs, his voice small. Elon swallows. He's lived fast, thinking building was enough. But this flower, this love, for something so simple, it reveals the cost of all he's missed. We can't fix this one, he says, holding the daisy gently. But we can make more. A spark lights in X's eyes. Elon rises, lifting him. The daisy still clutched in his tiny hand, bent but held. It's 8:30 p.m. The dishes remain. The apple, untouched. But the world has shifted. Come on, he says, rough but kind, leading X out the back door. The screen creaks behind them. The Austin night breathes cool against their skin. Crickets hum. Moonlight spills silver over the grass. Their backyard is small. A patch of earth, a lonely oak, a flower bed long forgotten. Overrun now with weeds May once planted. Elon kneels, slacks dampening in the dirt. X stands beside him, sneakers sinking into the soil. Let's plant something, Elon says, steady now. X hesitates, holding the wilted daisy. But it's dead. Elon nods. Yeah, but we can grow more. Make it happy. He grabs an old trowel from the shed, its blade dull, handle worn. Digs into the soil, moonlight catching on crumbling earth. X watches, then drops to his knees. He sets the daisy aside and begins scooping dirt with his small hands. Like this? He asks. Elon smiles, quiet. Exactly. The two of them work in silence. Dirt on their hands, hoodie smudged, tie hanging loose. No rockets. No headlines. Just this. A man who built the future, and a boy who reminded him what makes it worth building. A simple gesture. A child's quiet grief guiding his father's hands. We need seeds, Elon murmurs, and begins rummaging through the shed. He finds a dust-covered packet, daisies scrawled across the label in May's handwriting. For sunny days. The sight of her words catches in his chest. A voice from a softer past, a stillness he'd long barreled past. He walks back and rips the packet open. The seeds spill into his palm, tiny weightless things. Here, he says, offering them to X. The boy takes them gently, his earlier tears now dried, replaced by quiet concentration. He sprinkles the seeds into the soil with careful fingers. Dirt gathers beneath his nails. Moonlight glows on his cheek. Will they grow? He asks. They'll try, Elon replies, voice low and thick. And we'll help. He used to see life as a sprint. Fastest, loudest, biggest. But that simple question slows everything. Not about winning, about tending. Together, they press the earth flat. The wilted daisy is laid gently on top, like a headstone, like a promise. For you, X whispers, not to his father, but to the flower. Elon swallows hard. He almost missed this. Something so small, yet infinitely vast. The night deepens. Crickets chirp louder. The stars sharpen above them. Elon leans back, X nestled into his side. The trowel rests beside them in the grass. You okay? He asks softly. X nods. Yeah, it's not alone now. Elon's chest clenches. He'd always been moving forward. But that belief that a flower deserved companionship and rest breaks him open. The noise of his life quiets. You're right, he says, barely audible. It's got friends now. X's small hand finds his. Dirt smears across their skin. Elon holds on tighter. The backyard, once ignored, now feels like a haven he hadn't realized he was missing. He should have been inside, checking emails, returning calls, chasing plans. But the phone stays untouched. His bag waits, forgotten. Through the window, the kitchen light spills faintly into the yard. Still, they remain outside. The flower bed, their quiet monument, soaks in the moonlight. "Tell me about the daisy," Elon asks, voice scratchy. "It was bright," X says like a smile. Elon chuckles softly. "Like yours." X gives a shy grin. Elon's chest warms. He's built so many big things. But this dirt, this boy, this moment feels monumental. A kind of hope he didn't know he'd lost. X's head starts to droop. His breath slow. Elon lifts him gently, cradling him inside. The daisy marker remains behind, a soft vowel left in the earth. He tucks X in a bed, hoodie still on, the covers rising with each sleepy breath. Elon brushes his hair back. "Sleep tight, buddy," he whispers, voice gruff and warm. Outside, the world exhales. The house is still but full. Crickets through the window, dishes in the sink. He sits on the porch, stars above, and mutters to himself, "Unbelievable." Not in frustration this time, but in wonder. A flower, a tear, a shift, and beneath it all, a planted seed, both literal and not, settling deep. Not loud, but true. A crack in the foundation of a life lived too fast. The first light of dawn creeps across the Austin horizon, brushing Elon Musk's modest porch with soft pink and gold. The air is cool, heavy with the last breath of night. Elon sits on the wooden steps, a chipped coffee mug warming his hands. His gray t-shirt is wrinkled from a night without rest. Inside, X sleeps soundly, wrapped in his blanket. The daisy seeds rest in the backyard now, tucked under loose soil beneath the oak. A wilted bloom marking the spot. A quiet grave. "I picked it for you, but it died." The words echo. They linger like smoke. The kitchen remains untouched, dishes unwashed, silence stretching through the halls. His phone lies heavy in his pocket. Silent. Unchecked. He'd held his son close last night. Promised more flowers. Not just to grow, but to nurture. A vow larger than the ground they'd pressed down. And the crack in his constant forward motion has only begun to widen. He takes a sip of coffee, bitter and grounding. His eyes drift to the garden. The fresh soil is still dark, a patch of new possibility under the tree's shadow. He had believed the life he'd built, fast, big, unrelenting, was enough. But a child's grief over a single daisy showed him what he'd left behind. "Unbelievable," he says again, softer now, a different kind of awe. The porch creaks gently beneath him. Crickets fade. He used to be the doer. Every day a storm of tasks. But now, X's small voice echoes louder than any boardroom. "I wanted to make you happy." That quiet devotion, something so easily overlooked, had shaken the foundation. And he carries it with him now, into the morning. The screen door creaks. X appears, barefoot, hoodie loose, eyes still puffy from the night before, but shining. "Dad," he says softly, holding a plastic watering can, chipped at the spout. Elon sets the mug down, a faint smile on his face. "Hey, buddy, up early, huh?" X nods, stepping closer, the can bumping against his knee. "For the daisies," he says, pointing toward the garden. "So if they don't die too?" Elon's throat tightens. That simple, fierce care. It echoes everything from last night. A weight he didn't know he needed. "Good thinking," he says, rough around the edges but gentle at the core. He stands, the porch creaking beneath them, and follows X into the yard. The grass is damp. X's toes press into the earth. Elon's sneakers soak in dew. The flower bed waits under the blush of dawn. X kneels carefully, pouring water from the can. The splash is uneven, slow. His brow furrowed, like a little gardener. "Like this?" he asks. Elon crouches beside him, steadying the can. "Perfect," he whispers. Gentle, so they feel it. He's built empires. But this feels infinite. A child's hope guiding his hands. They water the soil. The dirt darkens. The wilted daisy, untouched, rests atop it all. X leans back, wipes his hands on his hoodie. "Will they grow today?" Elon chuckles. "Not yet," he says. "Takes time, buddy. We'll keep helping." X nods, face serious. Elon's heart twists again. He had always rushed, but now patience blooms. A lesson he'd never taken time to learn. Okay, X says. He sets the can down carefully. I'll check tomorrow. Elon ruffles his hair. Deal. We're in this together. Stillness settles around them. A breeze stirs the grass. A bird chirps overhead. Peace. Undeniable. Across the street, a shadow moves. Mrs. Carter, a silver-haired neighbor in a faded apron, waters her flowers. She spots them, smiles, and crosses over. Morning, Elon. X, she calls, warm and curious. What are you two doing out so early? X looks up shy. Elon answers, planting. X's idea. Daisies. Mrs. Carter smiles, eyes softening as they land on X. Daisies, huh? My mama used to say they smile when they bloom. X perks up. Mine died, he says softly. But we're making more. She nods, eyes glinting with quiet knowing. That's the spirit. Keep tending. They'll come. Elon's throat tightens. I didn't know it needed to stay. X's words echo, mirrored in hers. He's teaching me. Elon says, surprising himself. Mrs. Carter nods. Kids do that. Show us what we forget. X grins, dirt on his cheek, and Elon feels something stir. He'd chased everything big, but this feels vast. Mrs. Carter shares a gardener's tip. Water slowly, let's sink in. X listens, tilting his can like hers. Elon watches, coffee forgotten, the morning light soft on their shoulders. He'd been the builder, a man chasing storms. But X's tears, a boy's belief in one daisy, it cracks something open. A quiet he used to drown is rising now. Thanks, Elon says as she waves goodbye. Her apron flutters. X tugs his hand. Can we do it slow? Elon nods. Yeah, slow's good. They kneel again, muddy hands working the soil. The flower bed, a quiet promise glowing under the rising sun. X yawns, head tilting toward Elon's shoulder. Tired? Elon asks. X shakes his head, stubborn. Gotta stay, he says. For the daisies. Elon lets out a low chuckle. You're tougher than me, kid. He'd always been in motion, rushing forward, away from stillness. But something in X's quiet resilience breaks that rhythm. A lesson in staying, one he'd never learned. They sit side by side, X's head beginning to slump. The watering can tip slightly in the grass beside them, soil smeared across both their hands. Tell me about the daisy again, Elon asks, voice gentle. X's voice lifts, faint but sure. It was yellow like a light. Elon's eyes sting. He'd built rockets, empires, but this boy, this flower felt infinite. A belief in tenderness he'd let wither, now returning to bloom. They stay seated as the yard begins to stir. Birds calling out, a distant dog barking, the sun climbing slowly over rooftops. X's breath slows, his small frame leaning heavier into Elon's side. Emails could wait. So could meetings. His phone remains off. The bag untouched. In the flower bed, the earth glistens, a soft symbol of hope. Elon exhales a single word under his breath. Unbelievable. Rough, but not to X. To himself. The lesson of the daisy seeps deeper, quiet but profound, a fracture in him widening. Not a collapse, but a shift. He lifts X gently and carries him inside, the boy's cheek against his shoulder. At the doorway, Elon pauses, one hand resting on the frame, morning light draping across his back. A man standing still, rethinking everything because of the promise sown by a single, fragile seed. Later that day, the late afternoon sun spreads golden over Austin, casting warmth across the streets. Its glow softens the edges of a small park, just a short walk from their home. Elon walks beside X, who clutches his chipped plastic watering can, hoodie marked from the morning's gardening. Though he yawns, his eyes are bright, his spirit awake. Elon carries a paper bag filled with tools, trowels, gloves, an extra packet of seeds. His jeans bear fresh smudges from kneeling in the backyard, the memory of last night's wilted daisy still resting quietly in his chest. X's voice echoes, I picked it for you, but it died. That ache lingers, softened by the night they spent replanting under the moon. A crack in Elon's drive, widened again by their gentle work at dawn. Almost there, Elon murmurs, gruff but warm. X nods, the can bouncing softly against his leg. Earlier, they'd watered the flower bed with care, following Miss Carter's advice. Let it soak in slow. Now, drawn by X's eager request, can we see flowers grow? They've come here. The park's little garden, a space beyond their own yard. A gesture Elon hadn't planned, but one that feels undeniably right. He'd built his life always chasing scale, bigger, louder, faster. But a child's grief over a single daisy had slowed him. A faith in nurturing that now shapes each step. They arrive at the garden, a modest plot circled by wooden benches. Daisies and marigolds sway gently in the breeze. X kneels and sets down the can, brushing his fingers over the soil. Like ours, he asks. Elon crouches beside him. Yeah, buddy. Same idea. Keep him happy. X nods and pours the water gently, careful not to drench. His concentration mirrors last night's moonlit planting. Elon watches, the trowel still in his hand, untouched. Around them, the park hums, laughter, barking, a swing creaking. But X's quiet effort draws Elon inward. He'd always been the doer, a storm of ambition. But this stillness cracks it, a lesson he'd left behind. Then a shadow falls across the path. May Musk steps from a nearby rental car, her silver hair catching sunlight, her floral scarf fluttering as she waves. Elon, X, she calls, her voice wrapped in that familiar South African lilt. Elon rises. Mom, he didn't expect her. He'd only texted that morning, just a line. X is teaching me things. Nothing more. She walks toward them, eyes warm on X, who lights up. Grandma, he beams, hugging her legs tightly, the water ink and wobbling but staying upright. Surprise, she smiles, ruffling his hair. Heard about your planting mission. Thought I'd stop by and see. Elon raises an eyebrow. Planting? Huh, she says, lowering herself beside X. Her skirt brushes the dirt. Daisies like mine. Ours died, X tells her, but we're making new ones for Dad. Her eyes glimmer. Elon swallows hard. I wanted to make you happy, X had whispered last night. May looks at Elon. He told me. The flower got you good, didn't it? Elon nods, gruff. Yeah, kids got away. X pours more water, steady and calm. May watches him with quiet admiration. He's got your heart, she says to Elon. Sees what matters. Elon shifts, the breeze tugging at his sleeves. Didn't notice until now. Her eyes hold his, kind but unwavering. You were busy. We all get that way. But you're here now. The truth of it lands heavily, but gently. A truth he had sprinted past for too long. He cried. Elon confesses, voice low. Picked it for me. Thought it'd make me smile. Broke him when it died. X looks up, tentative. I didn't know it needed roots. May chuckles softly. None of us do the first time. They fall into a quiet rhythm. X watering, May gently weeding, Elon digging new holes for the seeds May brought along. A packet labeled in her handwriting, Daisies for X. Around them, the park buzzes. Children race, swings creak. But their little corner stays hushed. Dirt smears X's hoodie, May's scarf, Elon's jeans. He'd raced toward greatness. But this moment, this shared work, feels enormous. A child's belief guiding his hands. Like this. X asks, patting the soil gently. Perfect, May says. Give 'em love. They'll grow. Elon's chest aches, warmed and pierced. I tried to fix it, X had said. And that truth broke something open in him. May leans back, fingers dusty. You were like him, she says. Always fixing, never still. Took me years to see. You needed roots too. Elon's throat tightens. Her voice, her belief, the quiet he'd always run from. I didn't think it mattered, he murmurs. Thought motion was enough. She shakes her head. Movement is easy. The staying, that's where it stings. And heals. X hums softly as he sprinkles more seeds. Elon watches the golden light stretch across the garden. Daisies swaying. Laughter distant. He's teaching me, Elon says quietly. May smiles. Then listen well. They finish together. The soil dark, water sinking in. A promise buried under sunlight. X yawns, curling against May. She hugs him close. Proud of you, little gardener. Elon watches, eyes stinging. He'd built grand visions. But this garden, feels vast. Thanks, he says, voice rough but full. May nods. Keep planting. Keeps us human. The park buzzes, life spinning on. But they linger. X's hand in his, the world quieting. A small crack widened, not loud but real. He had been the dreamer, his life a roar. But a child's tears, a daisy lost. And now a new kind of blooming begins. The fracture born from those tears. Deepened through their moonlit planting, early morning tending, and the winding words shared in the park. The part he never stayed for. He had always hurried, pulled by meetings, plans, futures sketched in grand strokes. A life he thought impressive. But X's grief over a single wilted bloom had stopped him in his tracks. A child's gentle care reworking the gears of his relentless drive. Looking good, buddy, he says, voice gravelly but tender, nodding at the picture. X glances up, his blue eyes bright. There are daisies. For you. That for you lingers. Those same words from the night in the kitchen. A gift he'd nearly missed. May lowers her magazine, her smile soft and knowing. He's got an artist's eye, she teases. Takes after me. Not those blueprint scribbles of yours. Elon chuckles under his breath. Fair. Mine are all angles and lines. X giggles, adding a green stem with care, and Elon leans back as the room holds its breath. Crickets singing beyond the windows, the low thrum of distant cars, a piece he hadn't noticed he'd let go. He had always been the builder. Life, a storm he sprinted through. But X's tears had cracked something open. A belief in intention, in gentleness, blossoming now. Tell me about it, Elon says quietly, pointing at the drawing. X's voice rises, cheerful. They're happy. Lots of sun, like Grandma said. May nods. Sun and love. That's all they ask. Warmth coils in Elon's chest. He'd aim high, always farther. But I didn't know it needed roots, still echoed. A lesson he was only just grasping. Let's check on ours, he says, rising. X jumps up, a crayon spinning across the floor, the drawing left behind. May stands too, her scarf slipping from her shoulder as she follows, sandals whispering across the floor. They step out the back door, screen creaking. The yard spreads out beneath a velvet night. Stars glittering beyond the oak tree. The flower bed dark and still, a sacred patch now, where X's tiny fingers had pressed seeds into the soil, where Elon steadied them, where May's handful of daisy seeds joined theirs. A single petal, fallen from the wilted daisy, rests on the soil like a quiet promise. X kneels barefoot, hoodie brushing the damp grass, and peers close to the dirt. Anything yet? Elon crouches beside him, hand warm on his shoulder. Not yet. Takes time. X nods, serious. Like you said, slow's good. The words twist in Elon's chest. Slow, a pace he'd never known. But X's patience was teaching him. A belief in slow growth he'd once ignored. May settles onto a nearby bench, watching them with a soft smile. They're doing their work down there. Just need to trust them. Elon exhales rough, learning to. X pats the dirt gently, giggling. Grow big, daisies. Stillness blankets the yard. Crickets chirping, a breeze brushing through the leaves. A haven Elon didn't realize he was craving. He sits, legs outstretched, X leaning into his side. May's voice is low, fond. You too are planting joy, just like I taught you. Elon glances at her. Her words from the park echo. He's got your heart. A faith that mirrored X's small acts of care. A quiet he had always run from. Didn't stick. Till now, he murmurs, caught off guard. She meets his eyes, steady. Takes a daisy sometimes. What matters is you're here. The truth lands heavily. A weight he'd never carried in all his striving. He had crafted vast visions. But X's tears had cracked open something real. A flower's death revealing a tenderness he'd long neglected. Grandma, X says, yawning, tiny fingers curling around Elon's hand. Tell Dad the story. May smiles, voice honeyed. Which one? The daisy field. X nods, snuggling closer. She leans in, her voice weaving the past into the moment. When I was little, we had a whole field of them. Daisies like stars on the ground. I'd pick them for my mom, but they never lasted. That's when she taught me, plant them. Don't just take. Elon swallows hard, her voice a thread connecting generations. Her lessons, once shrugged off, now land sharp and clear. Sounds like X, he says softly. May nods. He gets it, knows what stays. X's eyes flutter closed, his drawing still waiting on the table. Elon holds him close, the story still unfurling in his chest. A field, a boy, a promise of care. Above them, stars shimmer. The oak rustles, and Elon says almost himself, I didn't see it, what that daisy meant. May nods. But you do now. It's not the race, it's the roots. X's breathing deepens, asleep against him. Elon's arms tighten. I just wanted to make him happy. A simple truth, one he'd nearly missed in his sprint through life. He had chased the biggest, the loudest, but this grounded him. A lesson in staying put, in being present. Thank you, he says to May, voice roughened. She shrugs gently. Family keeps us whole. The yard hums around them. Crickets, wind, and the hush of the world at rest. Still they stay. X's weight a quiet anchor. The flower bed a silent vow under the stars. Elon lifts X, his body soft and heavy, and carries him inside. Tucks him in, hoodie and all. May settles onto the couch, magazine open in her lap but untouched. Stay a while, she says softly. Elon nods, sitting nearby as the lamp casts a warm pool over crayons and the unfinished model rocket. He's changing you, she says. Elon grumbles, yeah, daisies'll do that. She chuckles. More than you know. Watch him grow. He had always moved, always built. But X's tears had planted something new. A belief in care. Now rooted deep. Outside, the stars burn brighter. And Elon stays. May's voice a whisper. Plant more. His hand drifts to the drawing on the table. A field of daisies. Yellow. Bright. He had been the dreamer. His life a roar. But X's sorrow had reshaped the vision. A quiet blooming, born from a single, fragile stem. He murmurs, unbelievable, rough and reverent. Not grand, but real. A man grounded by a boy's tears. A daisy's quiet light. If you love this story, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more heartwarming stories like this one.